Hello, welcome. Happy Friday to everyone. I'm going to give everyone just a second to get into the room. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. Awesome. So you are with StriveScan and our Missed Connections and Automatic Uploads webinar. Thanks so much for joining us. Just to kick things off, just so you know, you'll be receiving a follow-up email that'll contain a link to this recording of the webinar, as well as links to materials, full explanation documentation that we will include with that, so you don't have to work too hard and take too many notes today. My name is Dan Saavedra. I'm the president of StriveScan. Welcome. On the line with us is Isabella Williams, our Senior Associate Director of College and Fair Relations based in Charlotte, and Annie Mills, our Director of College and Fair Relations based in San Diego. Those two are in the background that are going to help me with some of the Q&A. Thanks so much. This is our entire team. Hope we will get the chance to see you on the road or at some point this spring. So welcome. So with our agenda today, what I want to set up is sort of the situation. What was the problem that we were trying to solve with missed connections? I'll walk you through what the experience is like for students, parents, and counselors. And then what I think you're here for today is learn how this will impact you on the college and university side, what your experience will be. We'll also talk about how that's all related to automatic uploads. It's a feature that we released last year and has been very popular. It's the easiest way to get all your data automatically from StriveScan and into your CRM. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to use the Q&A button. Send your messages. We'll get to some during the presentation, and if not, we will get to them at the end as well. We have recordings. We'll have this recording plus all of our trainings, the StriveScan 101, 201, and 301 trainings that are great for you and your team. Those are all available at strivescan.com/colleges/training. And that's a great resource. And there'll be a link to that in the email that we send you as well. So let's kick this off with the issue. The problem that we were trying to solve with misconnections. So we know that college fairs are great. We hope you get a chance to engage with a lot of students who are interested with your school. And they get a chance to meet you, ask questions, and you leave feeling accomplished. But what we know is, even if you could talk to a good number of families, there are still going to be students at that school, in that community, who are interested in your institution, but didn't get a chance to talk to you that night. Why? Well, maybe you were really busy. You had a long line, students get impatient, or maybe you got stuck at that table in the corner and the students didn't see you. Maybe the student just ran out of time and didn't get around to your table. Or maybe the student didn't get to the fair at all. Maybe they were sick that day or they had practice. We wanted to find an opportunity for all of these students to still connect with you, to provide you their information just as if you had scanned them. And that's why we created Missed Connections. So what does that look like for the students? Well, those students will still register for their barcode just like before. They go to strivefair.com, fill out our fast and easy registration form. They get texted and emailed their barcode. They show you their barcode at the fair. You get to scan them. Nothing changes before or during the fair. It's that same easy registration for them, same great scanning for you. The magic happens after the fair. 15 minutes after the fair ends, we're going to send every person who registered for the fair an email and a text. It's going to contain a link to connect with more colleges. So at the end of the night, when that family is on their way home after the fair, they're going to get a final text from StriveScan. We're going to give an opportunity to say, oh, wait, I missed that college. And they'll be able to click on that link and send you their information. Now, it's not as great as if you had a chance to speak with them or to answer their questions or tell them why your institution is amazing. But we're going to give them a chance to say, oh, yeah, I missed you. So 15 minutes after that fair ends, that's when things start happening. So who's going to get to participate? Everyone who registered for the fair and got their barcode, regardless of if they attended or not. So for students who registered, got their barcode, scanned at 4 tables, great. They're going to get a misconnection text and email, and maybe they'll add a few more schools to their list. Or that student who works after school, has responsibilities to care for their younger siblings. They wanted to go to the fair, but they couldn't get there. As long as they've registered for the fair, we're still going to send them a missed connections text and email when the fair is over. So they'll still have a chance to participate, still have a chance to send their information and connect with you. And since parents and counselors can also register for fairs and get a barcode and scan with you, they too can participate in missed connections. And just like scanning, parent and counselor data is separate from students. And we'll talk a little bit more about the data you receive in just a minute. So what does it look like for those students? As I mentioned, after the fair ends, 15 minutes, they're going to get this text message and an email with a link, and then they can click that and see a list of all the colleges that were scanning at the fair. Now, the colleges that they met and actually scanned with, they're going to be noted here. Green check mark, great, they're already done. And then there will be the other schools. All the student needs to do is click Send My Info button, and then they're done. They can search by name or location in that top field there, and then it's just one click. This page will be available to them anytime after the fair is over. So they'll get that message 15 minutes after the fair prompting them to send it, but they have this page is available at any point. So if it's a daytime fair and the fair ends and the students are now back in class, no worries. They can come back to this after school, tomorrow, or the next weekend. It's still going to be available to them. So we've talked about the student experience. Now, how does this work for the colleges? On the college side, you're going to get data not just of everyone you met and scanned, but in addition, you'll now receive that same data about everyone who clicks Send My Info. Don't worry, we're going to keep that data separate. So your scan data and your missed connections data is going to be separated. So you'll know exactly who you scanned and everyone else you missed. With missed connections, you'll get that same great exact data fields that you're used to receiving as if you had scanned them. There'll be separate CSV files, and the connections one is going to have the word connections in the file name. Scans will have scans in the file name, so you can keep it straight. Pro tip, customize your communication flows based on this. Don't send the same, it was great meeting you at the fair message to your missed connections, because you didn't actually meet them. Instead, a nice, sorry, I missed you at the fair, I'm your admissions counselor, let me answer your questions. That would be a great next step and separated utilizing your missed connections. So how do you get your data? You'll be able to export your missed connections data the same way that you export your scan data. It's one click, one button, either from our website or the mobile app. But wait, I said earlier, students can add missed connections at any point in time, an hour, a day, a month after the fair. What about that? So that's where our missed connections notification email comes in. Every Monday morning, we're going to let your team know if you have any new missed connections data. We'll send an email notification if and only if you've received any new missed connections in the preceding week. If so, you'll see you'll see all the fairs that they're from and a link to export. If there are no new missed connections that week, no new email will be sent. Who is notified and who receives this email is totally up to you. By default, we've added all of your team's admin users at the launch of this service. If you're an admin user on the team, we've added you to this list, but you can and should customize this. Choose who would be best to receive this notification. Think about this. Typically, this is someone with data processing responsibilities. It's going to be a notification email that covers all fairs where you might have missed connections data. So it's not broken down by territory or anything like that. All you need to do is click on log into your account on our website, click missed connections here, and then specify who you want to receive that email. And then you can also check this box to also notify the representative who is actually scanning at the fair, but that's an optional extra step. So once you've received that email, you can just click on the link to the fair and then download your export file. Now, you might have already exported those scans from the fair. When you click on that export button again, you're going to get your scans plus the misconnection data downloaded at the same time. You can open your misconnections file and just get any of those new misconnections. What I've just described to you is sort of the manual way of getting your data. It's not hard, but depending on how many misconnections you receive and when they came in, you may have to re-export fares multiple times. There is a better way. Instead of clicking on that export button each time, you can skip all that with automatic uploads. With automatic uploads, we take all of your new data every night and deliver it straight to your CRM or to your server. We use what's called SFTP. That's Secure File Transfer Protocol. It's a mouthful, I know. Now, admin users can set this up through our website. You'll just provide us with your SFTP host, that's like your server, and your login credentials. If you use Slate, you'll need to create a service account for StriveScan to connect. You'll need to allow our IP addresses to connect to your server, and all those details are available on our website at strivescan.com/SFTP. It's linked on the SFTP page. We'll also provide it in the follow-up. So every night, all new scans from any college fairs, virtual programs, and now misconnections are going to be batched and uploaded. If we encounter any errors, you can designate an email address to receive those error notification emails, and we'll also just automatically try to resend it the next day. So with SFTP, or automatic uploads, we're going to send you a daily batch of files. We consolidate all data from any college fair or virtual events, all scans by all team members from that day into a single CSV file. Separate from that will be any misconnections. All those misconnections are going to be consolidated into a single file for students. And you should know that we do separate out parents and counselors from those students because we collect different information from them. Additionally, any students with US addresses and US phone numbers are separated from students with international addresses and international phone numbers, since the file columns are a little different. And finally, if you use StriveScan for high school visits, any scans from those high school visits will also be in their own file. We've heard from institutions already using automatic uploads. It's cut down on hours of manual file processing, and it makes it really seamless. They're able to send communications out to students in less than 12 hours after meeting them without breaking a sweat. So you have a couple of options here. You can either manually export your misconnections and scan data manually from just clicking the export button in the mobile app or on our website. That's going to download things by event. And it's going to be all scans at that event from multiple reps. And then those misconnections are going to be in a separate file. Or you can have them automatically upload to you daily via Secure File Transfer Protocol, SFTP. It's going to consolidate all your scans from that past day across multiple events, as well as those misconnections. Any new misconnections from that day are all going to get automatically uploaded to you. So the best part is both misconnections and automatic uploads come at no additional cost to you. There's no fee to turn it on, to get your data, or any per lead costs. If you're scanning at the fair, you're going to get misconnections included, and there's no additional cost for you to turn on automatic uploads. We hope that it's going to make your job easier, that you're able to follow up with students even more efficiently. And our goal is to provide even more value to you to make StriveScan even better at fairs and help you connect with your students. With that, we're going to turn it over to some questions. Isabel, Annie, do we have anything that came in through the Q&A that I can answer?
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. We have some great questions in the Q&A here. The first one is, when does that active misconnection link expire for the student?
Yeah, great question. So that students can send misconnections at any point, and that's why we are recommending you turn on those automatic uploads, because you can go back and export those out at any point. You might, we think this is brand new, so we don't have a ton of data on this yet, but we are anticipating most of those misconnections are going to come in after that initial communication goes out 15 minutes prior to the fair, but it's going to remain active at any point. So you could continue to receive data, that long tail of data further out.
Great. Next question is, can we set up automatic uploads for missed connections, but not for scanning that happens at fairs, or is it all or nothing?
Great question. It is all or nothing. We don't have separate settings for misconnections. However, we have had other institutions who want to process like professional data, counselors, or parents differently. So it's pretty simple just to ignore. We're going to send you those files, all of them, but you can ignore the ones that are not relevant. So if you only want to take misconnections via the automatic uploads, since we separate them out, just have your system look for the file name that contains the word connections and ignore everything that contains the word scan. And that's how you can still use misconnections, or excuse me, use automatic uploads, but just handle the missed connections data.
And so what's next after misconnections, or what's next for misconnections? Will the students be able to sort by programs or location, or is anything like that in the works?
Yes, we are always looking to enhance how that works and make the experience even better for students. We do anticipate, I don't have a specific timeline and I can't make any promises yet, but we do want to make the entire process of having students find and connect with your institutions even easier.
Wonderful. Do you send any additional reminders to the students about misconnections, or is it just a one-time reminder?
Yeah, at this point, it is just a one-time reminder. Now it's through 2 different channels, text and email. It's at this point, just that 15 minutes after the fair. We think that that is going to be the most effective, but it's our first season with Misconnection. So we are always learning and testing to see how we can improve the experience.
Great. We still have some questions coming in that we're answering, but I don't see any others to throw out here, Dan.
Okay.
Oop, I have one more, just kidding. Does each representative need to turn on misconnections, or can you turn this on for each individual at an institution?
Great question. There is no need to turn anything on. For misconnections, that's going to happen automatically. So if your institution is scanning at a fair, your institution will appear in the list of colleges that the students can connect with. They're going to be in, let me pull back into it. They're going to be in this list. That's going to happen automatically, nothing that you need to turn on. And so it's going to be available. As long as someone was, if you've unlocked that fair, you're scanning at that fair, it's not a per representative thing. So that's a great question, because we treat misconnections a little differently than scans. With your scan data, we attribute it to a particular person. So when you look at your scan export file, there's going to be a column in the far right that's going to say the representative that met that student and scanned their barcode. With misconnections, you didn't actually meet that person, so it's not going to be attributed to a particular representative. It's just going to be connected to the fair that the student attended or registered for. So there's nothing that you need to turn on as long as your institution, your team was unlocked and scanning at that fair, you'll be in that list.
Great. And then an automatic uploads question. Are there any CRMs that we're not able to support automatic uploads for?
No, automatic uploads are really agnostic of the CRM. SFTP is just a protocol, just a means of sending information across the internet. So we know we have institutions using it on Slate, on Salesforce, Ellucian. We also have institutions who have just set up a SFTP account or server just for the purposes of receiving the StriveScan data, and their systems run just totally separately, but it's just a way to get everything in there.
And then a clarifying question related to automatic uploads. If an institution already has SFTP set up and is already receiving automatic uploads, will they need to change the mapping to accommodate misconnection?
Yes, in most cases. So you'll automatically receive those additional files. If you're using Slate and you have, you have a file you're looking for a particular file and based upon our file name, and that's usually includes the StriveScan scans and then the date and timestamp of when those scans came through. Misconnections are going to come through with the word connections in the file name. Now we're working on improving our documentation around this, so they're going to be in our export file guide, and it's going to be that file name will have the word connections. So you need to tell your system to look for that connections file, not just the scans file, and then you'll be able to import that. Now, just from automatic uploads, we're going to send it to you regardless, but in your processing side, how you look for that and what you do with that data, you can look for the word connections in that file name. And then we recommend you kind of treat those connection data a little differently so they don't just automatically get sent. Like, thanks for meeting you at the college fair message automatically.
We've gotten a few different versions of this question, so I think it'd be good to share with the group. But when is Misconnections launching, and when should they expect to start receiving this data?
Yeah, great question. So we are, as you can see right here from the screenshot, we've launched it last week. It is live right now for the Utah Acro higher education tour that's happening right now. You will start seeing Misconnections data from all of your spring fairs.
And I think that wraps up our questions we have right now.
Okay, fantastic. As always, our team is available at help@strivescan.com. If you have any follow-up questions as you start to receive these files, you may have questions about how to process them or anything like that. Feel free to reach out to us at help@strivescan.com. As we mentioned, we're going to send you a follow-up email with a link to the full documentation on both of these features, the misconnections and automatic uploads. And we're excited to see some more connections with you this spring. We hope that students will have more opportunities and an easier mechanism to connect with you. Thanks everyone for sharing a little bit of time with us this Friday. Have a wonderful rest of the day and wonderful weekend.